Hello, this is Isaac from Turn Sounds. Don't make a rat trap with cardboard.
Welcome to Just Keep Walking. This is a podcast focused on the Walking Dead TV show, and today we are discussing Season 10, Episode 21, called Diverged. We're going to get into our thoughts and review the episode and just chat and have fun. So, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ben. I'm joined by...
Isaac, happy to be here.
And...
Liam, always here.
Fantastic. Awesome. Cool. So, basically the way this show works, we like to just dive straight into our overall thoughts for the episode, usually. This week, the whole thing's going to be a bit of a shamble because we probably won't follow the normal structure that usually we'll follow the plot sequentially or chronologically, but there wasn't really a whole lot of plot this week. So we'll just maybe jump around the place a bit. So we'll get maybe a few news things and some random stuff out first, but we'll get into our thoughts of the episode very quickly. Before that, do you want to give us your spoiler warning?
Indeed. Yeah, okay. Spoilers ahead!
Working up the energy. And just to let you know that this show is produced by Turn Sounds, so you can head to turnsounds.com or turnsounds@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with us for any questions or suggestions, or even support the show. You can find out more about that at turnsounds.com. We'll maybe plug that a bit more at the end. But
nice.
Yeah, without too much further ado, the only thing I just wanted to touch on before we dive into the episode was let me actually pull it up here. I should have prepared this a bit earlier. How are you guys going so I can stall and pull up this email?
After this episode, not good.
Oh, okay. Liam?
Yep.
This is great. Awesome. Well, that's a little sneak peek into our thoughts for the episode, perhaps. But yeah, I got a nice email during the week from Sam Ewing, friendly co-composer. I reached out to him back after the first episode with Maggie and stuff like that, and he commented on. I sort of just said that I really like the music, and was that a Predator reference and stuff like that? Remember with the tribal drums?
Yep.
So I'll just read out a bit of what he said. He said, all spot on, and indeed, there was an actual discussion with Bear, Angela, and I had referencing Predator to specifically make the Reapers feel like primal, dangerous hunters.
Hey.
We felt those exotic triplety drums would trigger that feeling for people, and that plus the underbelly of dark gurgling pulses and growls that are recorded from acoustic sources. It's getting pretty tough to find fresh sounds for the new characters after 10 seasons, but hopefully we're onto something cool here. And just thanks for all that. So yeah, that was cool. Just a little confirmation that that was on purpose.
Nice.
Cool.
That
was cool. And I'll just plug as well my music series Inside the Music of the Walking Dead. It's on our YouTube channel. And he checked that out as well. He said, I won't read it all. Toot my own horn, but he liked it, so that was cool. And I'm trying to also hopefully by the end of that maybe push for more soundtrack releases. So if you want to go on and comment and just show your support on there for the soundtrack, maybe that'll help and encourage some people to release a bit more music, because now we know that the big heads are watching, so that's cool. There we go.
Yeah.
More
power to you.
Yeah, cheers. But without further ado, this episode. Okay, so Isaac, why don't you start us off? Give us
I should.
No, okay. All right, Liam. Well, up to you. Do you want it?
Look, okay,
Yeah,
so
go for it.
can 30-second
sort of thoughts. Maybe.
Okay, I appreciate this show and everything that it's done. I understand that it's not easy to make each episode, a smash hit and everything like that.
Sure.
So, there are gonna be duds every once in a while.
Oops. It's kind of like this one.
Okay,
There
cool.
we go.
Okay. There are going to be duds every once in a while, and while I may not look favorably on every episode, I'm still happy to say that I'm enjoying this season and the series as a whole. So with that, this is maybe the worst one of the entire show for me.
Yeah, fair.
The director, David Boyd, I need to look up other episodes that he's done. I don't want to be harsh in saying that somebody dropped the ball somewhere, but it very much feels like either with the way that this was written or directed or acted. Maybe not acted, but
I would obviously not just to point the finger at anyone. You know, the whole it's always a collaborative effort
Right,
anyway.
yeah.
But I would say the writers maybe if anyone probably
Yeah.
dropped the ball. A bit.
Again, not to make anyone feel bad, but there was a real problem with this episode, which I'll get into later.
Right.
Was not a fan. Wasn't
Fair
dead
enough.
bored, but I was just kind of like this. Like as every single scene happened sequentially,
Yeah.
I was like, that didn't hit the mark, and then that one didn't, and then that one didn't.
Okay.
For reasons I will point out, but yeah, not a happy chappy.
Cool. All right. Liam.
All right, I will put a positive spin on it.
Okay.
Hey,
In the
yeah.
sense that I liked it better than the other Daryl and Carol episode. we got.
Okay. All right.
Funnily
That's
enough.
something.
I found Carol irritating this episode.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought, right? But I did kind of enjoy the whole Daryl fixing the motorbike thing. Yes, it was a little bit boring, but it was something in the episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, overall it wasn't good.
Right. Yeah. No, fair.
Yourself?
Well, yeah, same as you. You know, obviously we always try and look for the positive side of things and all that. It wasn't a great episode. I wasn't entirely bored. There wasn't a point where I was completely falling asleep. Which isn't saying a whole lot, but I suppose just as an overall thing, like getting halfway through the episode, all that's happening is Carol's making some soup and Daryl's looking for bike parts. All I could think was like, there's got to be something more to this. So, which I did find, because I guess that's what made me enjoy the episode more, is that I was like, they can't possibly just be this. Like, there's got to be more to it. And so when you started looking for metaphors and things like that, there was a bit there, but you had to really go, okay, this is so bad plot-wise. Absolutely nothing's happening. There's got to be a reason for it. And I think there was to some extent, but that's not to justify it at all. So, yeah.
If that has to be the focus to try and look deeper and that there's got to be something in this,
Yeah.
and that says something about the way the story's.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I suppose with the last one, you're in the writer's room, or give us a 30-second pitch. Okay, Daryl, we're seeing him during the time skip. He meets this lady in the forest. We're seeing where dog came from, and there's, he's looking for Rick. There's lots of things going on, and it's interesting. We want to find out about it, but this one, what do you say? Oh, Carol makes some soup, and Daryl looks for bike parts and then finds them eventually. There's got to be something else major behind this that made them go with the whole concept, I suppose. So. Yeah, but there is a little bit I found, I guess, that we'll get into as we go through it. We'll try and go through it sequentially. Maybe we'll see how we go. I can't remember exactly the order of everything, but obviously we start off. They're walking through the woods. They go their separate ways, and Dog follows Carol. Very obvious, crossroads sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Isaac jumped in at any point, or Liam, of course. But you said you had a lot of notes for specific
I'm thinking
moments.
about more positives now that I can think about it as well.
Okay.
I'll get to them as well.
Yeah, cool.
I did like the shot of his hand reaching out with the straight through the camera. It seemed with the pocket knife handing it to her.
Okay.
Very deliberate. Here's this from me to you.
Yeah.
And then that shot gets referenced as well when he remembers that he handed it to her.
Yeah.
So I did like that. Like you say, very obvious parting of ways.
Yeah.
Did he send Dog with her?
No, I think it looks like Dog was trying to decide who to go with, and then went with Carol. Yeah.
He said something too, didn't he? He was like, great, or thanks, or something.
Yeah. So I guess that's definitely a plus. The cinematography looked really nice, and it was a good mix of stuff, even with the rat and all that. I can't imagine that would have been fun to try and film, chaotic. But yeah, it looks nice, definitely. So I think Carol and Jerry talking, was that next?
There's the first ray of sunshine, his gardening outfit.
Yeah, he's really rocking that hat.
And the gloves.
Yeah, right. Jerry his fashion goals for the week. And here as well, it's just like so awkward. It very much intentionally. I suppose this is fallout or follow on from everyone being salty at Carol because of letting Negan loose, maybe, or why was it so awkward? Do you think, or did Jared just want to get on with his work?
Good point. I don't know.
Because he's listing all of the, like, there's this broken and we had to throw out this and the grain's no good and all of that. I don't know. Just, whisperer stuff. Because, the solar panels as well aren't working.
Yeah. It just seemed very intentional that, Jerry's trying to get on with his work and Carol's kind of like keeps bugging him. Like, okay, let me try and think of something you can do. I don't know.
That's made obvious as well by the stone story she tells. And like as soon as she starts telling, he like goes, "Yep, okay, we're still here, we're still talking."
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Which I was expecting that to lead somewhere, the stone story, but I don't think it really did.
True. It wasn't even like a parable for anything or like a.
No.
You just told me like everyone worked together to get the ingredients for that. Okay, so how does that relate to this?
Yeah. All right, Liam, you look like you're stewing on something. Pardon
Hey. Well, I just sort of thought like towards the end of the show, Jerry's checking on her, and I'm obviously skipping ahead a bit, but yeah, maybe it's not a case of Carol's done this, Negan's loose, rah. Maybe it was just a case of I'm doing something, man. Like leave me be.
Yeah.
Like go sort yourself out. I'm busy.
Yeah, fair enough.
So if he was genuinely ticked off by her, I can't see him going, I'm just coming to check in on you.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm salty at you. Stew in your misery, woman.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if we've seen Jerry be mad at anybody, have we?
No, not anyone who's a good guy, at least.
No.
Yeah.
I think he asserted his dominance when we first met him. And he's like, nobody touches the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt the king. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, well, overall, I suppose, just thinking about some of the themes and things that are going on, and the kind of conclusion by the end, the general like summary that I took out of it was that they're pretty much better off alone, because it seemed like they, for a while, like they were separate. They each kind of left something that was annoying the other one. So Carol took the knife, and then that's a big inconvenience for Daryl, and then dogs destroying the furniture and doing all this stuff and causing a pain for Carol. So there was like something there, but then because Daryl lost the knife, then he went and searched the army guy and found two army guys with all these supplies and stuff. So it's almost like because he had to sort of fill that gap, he's found something even better than what he had before. And almost similar with Carol, like when she was then hugging Jerry and then the rat just ran out and like everything kind of sorted itself out after they had been trying to fix it themselves. So yeah, I don't know, is there anything there? That kind of makes sense. Yeah. It's a bit of a stretch, mate.
Something that this episode, and I don't know if it's happened in the past, but it's kind of brought loot zombies, if you will, like a new category.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of cool because all you need to do is look around for a zombie that was an army dude, and it's got, the full vest on with all of the pocket utilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Maybe I've got to go to airplane.
There's a phone thing happening. I don't think that comes through into the recording.
Okay, well, let us know in the emails if we haven't listened to it.
But no, I do like that you just have to spot like an ex-army dude, or I say ex because he's dead.
Yeah.
And then, that's a loot zombie. Go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that. I think that's cool.
When you think about it, sorry.
No.
Yeah. When you think about it, like that should be a bit more common, wouldn't it? Because a lot of the walkers that they'd see these days would be like people who did survive for a while as well.
Yeah.
Who would naturally be walking around with a couple of stuff that would come in handy in the apocalypse.
I would think even a backpack would be more common. Like you see someone with a backpack, and then that's a big challenge. You've got to try and take them down without ruining what's in the bag or something. Yeah.
Well, a joke early on for the first couple of seasons was that every single male zombie was like in a plaid button-up shirt. Like,
right. Okay.
Everyone is in button-up shirts.
Okay.
Whether they're open or closed up.
Interesting. I didn't notice. I'm gonna have to
No.
go back and look now.
Yeah.
I've just started rewatching it, so I'm going to look out for that now.
Yeah, right.
And all the lawns are mowed. But there you go.
Yeah, that definitely
but
stood out.
You still need to keep things like looking nice,
Yeah.
obviously.
Maybe the crawling zombies eat the grass.
Yeah, makes sense. Nutrient
There you go.
works for cows. Where were we? So I don't know what happens next. She's like looking for stuff. She's in the pantry finding ingredients. Dog's going crazy for some reason because of the rat. I
yeah.
guess.
Mm.
I'm just gonna rattle through it. Let me
Go
know if
for
you
it.
got any thoughts. Yeah, she makes the rat trap, I guess, and then she goes out to find supplies and I don't know what she's doing with the walkers. She's like, I'll get you and then you and then you. It's
Okay.
like, what?
All right. Okay.
Where have you got?
So this is maybe what made me think maybe directing error, because in that
Okay.
in that particular, it just felt off. It didn't ring true. It didn't feel like her character when she was like, I don't even know who she was talking to. Like the walker's like, what? You think I can't
Yeah.
take you all on by myself? Like that line, the way it was delivered, were I directing it again? I'm sorry, I did that again. Like there was
That's
some,
fair.
I don't know. It didn't
Yeah.
ring true to me. And then cool, because I did think to myself, look, they're all spaced apart beautifully. You could go from one to one to one, just take them all out. And I'm glad that she did. But there was something that felt like, what was the purpose of all of that? And then she grabs the bucket with her bloody hands.
Yeah.
Like gets it over the materials she's just picked.
There's a handle on the side as well. She could have grabbed, or you just grab it on the sides
Yeah.
without touching the top of it.
She wiped her hands off a little bit on the grass, but still.
Yeah,
No
you better
hygiene.
hope
Yeah.
that hot pot boils out like all
Oh,
germs
man.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It just didn't quite ring true. Like there was maybe something there as far as her trying to, like, usually Daryl's with her and she's trying to like
Okay.
tell herself, no, I can do this, or convince herself that she can handle it on her own. But like, it was just awkward, I suppose. Hey.
But in this point in time, too, she can do that, and we're well aware of it.
True. And even like the way that she's going, you first, and then you, and then
Yeah.
you. Like, no one says that out loud to themselves. Like, okay, she could have uttered like an I can do this type thing to herself for reassurance, and then that's it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Or maybe she's just lost it after 10 years of the apocalypse. Who knows? Yeah. Okay. So she has a walking encounter. Then Daryl has a walking encounter straight after with the car and stuff like that, which is again kind of funny and strange.
Was this not a scene that was like completely pointless to you as well? I mean,
The whole episode was pointless.
yes, but inside of that episode,
Yeah.
where it's kind of like, okay, he decides to go under the car.
He got the hose though, didn't
I
he?
think so.
So that was, I guess, what came out.
But
of it.
okay, so when you're directing that scene, when you say, okay, now the walker inside the car makes the car unbalanced and so it nearly squashes Daryl, did any of us think at any point that he was going to die or even get seriously injured from that thing? I certainly didn't, not myself. And so and then you've got the music going, da-na-na-na-na-na-na, like, oh no, he's in real peril type thing. No, he's not. So why did you waste time including that scene? It just feels like this taunting of danger or peril, which is completely unnecessary. Yeah. If it was one of the side characters who was along for the ride, I'd be like, okay, is this where they out of nowhere die? Is this going to be a shock? Not the main guy who we already know is going to have a spin-off show.
Yeah, I'll disagree to some extent. Like, I feel like it's still okay to, to put them in peril and have some action. Like, just because we know they'll survive doesn't mean you shouldn't have any walker encounters.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll rephrase that. Not with the music and not with, like, you could have had it so that he's under the car and he partially gets squashed and he utters like damn it, like, so he's having a day. He's having something which could have been potentially dangerous. But the way, I don't know, listen to the music.
He's really casual about it as well, isn't he? He's like, hey, quit moving around.
Yeah.
The walker can't he?
Yeah.
It just kicks moves around. Like, it's
The tone was very confusing.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. All right, he gets the hose, but then he needs the tool, the knife. So then he sees the army guy, and there's a whole pile of walkers behind him. They're like right behind him. He's limping along. He's barely moving. And then he has this whole like minute-long fight with the army walker, and they're still like ages behind him. They haven't come over the hill yet. So did that stand out to you guys?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, very loud Walker as well.
Yeah.
like practically screaming at him.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, that's a good find. It is satisfying, I guess, coming across a big load of cool stuff. I think Rick and Michonne as well, like when it was more with the second Walker who's got the army packed meals in his backpack. I think Rick and Michonne, when they were like in that carnival and they like came across a whole box of them. Again, that's like, oh, this is nice. That's satisfying.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff you want to find. They're actually not bad. I get the campers pantry ones sometimes, and they taste very good.
The lasagnas and stuff.
Yeah, they can be all right. But yeah, there's that. I don't know what else happens. Carol wakes up in the night and smashes the wall apart. Come on, man.
Again, the music behind that. Overall, like the music when she's making the rat trap and when she's cooking dinner, I was like, yeah, I can get into this. It's like
Sure.
very industrious type music.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, and the guitar sort of strumming along.
Yeah, and even toward the end when Daryl comes back and there's kind of the vocals going in the background there. Not bad.
I wasn't a fan of that, to be honest.
It was refreshing for me.
Okay.
I wouldn't have it all the time,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was alright. But yeah, okay, so she's ripping into this wall. The music is making you think that there's going to be like walkers in there or some kind of dead rotting body or something. Like, why is she hacking into this?
Okay, I guess that's the whole thing where it comes in like literal versus metaphorical, which is definitely a problem. Because if you look at like what it's telling us about the character, I guess, then at least it's supposed to be showing us that she's going crazy without Daryl, or she's just so desperate to solve this problem by herself, or something along those lines, at least. So I guess there's not an intensity to what's actually happening, but there is an emotional intensity, and that's why she's just going all full on, all out, smashing apart the wall for such a small thing. That's annoying her. So, there's character stuff there, but you're right. Looking at the scene as she's trying to get this rat and there's intense music playing, it's definitely over the top for that.
God.
Yeah.
I did have a funny note toward the end when she offers the pocket knife back to Daryl.
Okay.
And he says to her, you can keep it, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, now you've gone and dulled the blade carving into a
Yeah,
drywall
yeah.
with it. Like, yeah, you can keep it. Like, hand it back to him all,
Yeah.
blunt.
Yeah, and I mean, drywall, you would probably know more about this than me. Is that like easy to make? Could you do that in an apocalypse? Could you
Remake it,
conjure up new drywall?
I suppose.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was reminded when Dog knocked over the lamp earlier in the episode, that reminds you like, oh, you can't just go to the shops and get a new bulb. That's a serious thing. And then she's hacking apart this drywall. I was like, man, there's only so many buildings still standing these days. You can't just destroy them for a rat. Like,
Well, maybe that's your metaphor. She's breaking down walls.
Hey.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Not really.
For what purpose?
Yeah. Okay. So, I think that's about it, really. Then Jerry gives her a hug and says a poem.
Yeah. A saying from the king.
Yeah.
That's nice. He sees her face through like the shed window and he gives like this big grin from outside. Jerry.
You can't not like Jerry.
Yeah, he's great.
Absolutely. So he's always a plus. Yeah, and then just the ending, they come together and again they go their separate ways, closing their own doors. The scene, I suppose, as far as the like direction of it, and more so, is really just the music that maybe made me feel this way. But that was one of the only times in this show that I felt like if someone walked in and just saw this scene, they'd think this is some like weird, cheesy, Neighbours sort of show. Like it just seemed really TV-like as opposed to it normally feels a bit more cinematic and grounded and stuff like that.
Yep.
Maybe it was just the shots and the dog runs up and hey, how's it going? Like, yeah, it felt a bit awkward. But yeah, I guess coming towards the end, like as far as what it was trying to say or metaphors, like did you guys sort of get anything by the end of it with the whole conversation with Jerry and things like that?
Not particularly, other than Carol feels pretty crappy.
Mm.
Daryl is annoyed at Carol, but feels a little bit crappy about being mean to her. And they're both like, well, let's just separate for a while. I know you guys are acting like kids. This is
That's
stupid.
true. Yeah. So maybe in hindsight, after the story's progressed and we see how this played a part in the bigger picture, then that could redeem it a bit. Absolutely. Yeah, for now it just seems a bit sort of aimless or...
Yeah.
It certainly seems like there was something... there had to be something intentional behind it. I mean, these writers know what they're doing. Yeah.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, because I was thinking during the episode, surely, like, these are all bonus episodes we've got. Surely they can't go in a particular way because, season 11 has... Well, it's already started filming, if I'm not mistaken. Or
Yeah.
yeah, so they've obviously got stuff that they're doing with that. Carol and Daryl will have this sort of relationship, or this is the direction they're going. There's really not a whole lot of wiggle room. So I guess maybe season 11, Carol and Daryl are still quite tense and strained, so they can't really do a whole lot. So like you say, in hindsight, maybe like, okay, yeah, that makes a bit of sense. But for now, it just leaves us with a very boring episode.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe... Because, like, we've seen a little bit between them in season 10, but for the most part, they were off doing their own thing. Like, we know that Daryl's angry at Carol and there's stuff there, but this maybe just solidifies it more in our mind because we've got a whole episode seeing that, they really don't like each other at the moment versus a couple of scenes here and there, and we've got to kind of remind ourselves, oh, yeah, they don't really like each other. But then at the end of, like, in episode 16, they hugged and made up again. So it's like, it's just a bit confusing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. But yeah, sorry, go on.
My kind of question, and maybe this is more of a holistic look at these extra episodes that we're getting. With ones like this got like this has got a 4.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
The lowest of the whole series, I believe.
There you go. So whoever was editing this, let me start again, sorry. Did they think that this was good enough? Like, to really say, okay, we're going to give you 6 extra episodes. And we had the first one, which was quite enjoyable. The second one with Daryl and this other girl, which was a bit like, Or was that the second one? Or the third?
Yeah, I think that was the second one.
And then we had the great one with Ezekiel and Aaron. We had a pretty good one with...
Gabriel and Aaron. Yeah.
Gabriel, pardon me, and Aaron. Pretty good one with Princess and Ezekiel and all of those. And then back to this one, and for all we know that the Here's Negan one is going to be something pretty great.
Yeah.
How, when you're putting all of these together, do you come across this one, Diverged, and say, yep, okay, technically it's pretty good. It's shot well, the music is pretty good. Story, it's like, how did this make it past the cutting floor,
Like this... If this was a bonus feature on the DVD, it's like, oh, here's this extra like random story we shot just as a bonus feature. Sure, that'd be all right. But the fact that they have said these are bonus episodes, but they're still releasing them as episodes, so you expect a little bit more.
And I get that I'm not in the shoes of the showrunners, but I'd like to think that if I were in that position, I would put out a statement saying, like, I'm sorry, I know we said we'd give you 6, but like truly, or to say like, there's this one episode that is really, I don't think it's good enough for you. And so we're going to release it as like a not part of season 10. This is like you say, a DVD extra we're going to release it as.
Or, I mean, there's, especially with streaming now, they've got AMC Plus and these premium things. Like, that's the perfect place for it. Look, it's not quite good enough to make it part of the main series, but we'll still give it as a bonus for the fans who are paying a bit extra, kind of like our plugged-in content, which we'll get to later. Yeah. But it would work in that sense. But, yeah, just not as a standalone episode in the series. Yeah.
I'm just a little disappointed. I'm not annoyed. I just feel like it's not good enough. The
Absolutely,
decisions that were made in here. These aren't things that I'm looking at like, oh, for me it would have been better this or this way. Like objectively, all of us three, and it seems like the rest of the 2,000 people that have reviewed this are all saying the same thing. So it's kind of like it's not good enough.
Yeah. And I suppose that's a compliment in many ways to the show in general.
Yeah.
Is, we're not saying, oh, this show's just been going downhill for the last 5 seasons or whatever. We're just saying we have really high standards. The show's been so good, especially in the latest season, and all the surrounding episodes are held to such a high standard. And so we expect a bit better from, we know these guys know what they're doing making the show. So, step up the game a bit. But that we definitely, hold it to a high standard, which I think is a good thing. It's better than just not caring at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't have released it.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
And maybe this could be helpful as well. Like maybe how would we have taken these resources to maybe?
Well, okay. So this will maybe give us a few minutes to think about it. But we're gonna go in a little bit into some extra plugged-in content. So that's essentially a replacement for Patreon. We've got a PayPal link set up on our website where you can support us for a couple of bucks a month and get some extra content, and it really just helps support the show. But in that extra extended episodes we do at the end, we just do a bit of like 10, 15 minutes worth of extra content. And I'd love to hear what you guys would pitch instead of this episode. What would you do as an alternate story, or maybe to fill the 40 minutes?
I was going to maybe still include all of the same characters to stick with their shooting schedule and stuff.
Yeah. So same characters. What's a different story you could do?
Cool.
All right, we'll come back to that, and definitely head to turnsounds.com if you're interested to hear that.
Yeah.
So I think we've got through most of the thoughts. Anything else on your guys' list that you wanted to cover? The cardboard box thing was, you don't put a rat in a cardboard box. It'll just chew through it.
It'll just chew 5 straight
seconds.
out of it.
Yeah. Not a great trap.
And okay, so I thought it was a pretty clever trap the way that she put it together,
Oh, the construction of it, sure.
Yeah, okay, so I've caught the rat. What do? You don't pick it up from the sides and then tilt it so that it slips right. Grab it from the mouth of the thing so that it can't open back up. What? This was the perfect opportunity for her to do what I predicted and pick it up properly, but then trip and drop it.
Follow, okay, yeah.
I was going to say the soup bowl did technically get dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I was thinking they were going to cook the rat in the soup. That would have been perfect. You've got that'd be great. You've got a few vegetables and mushrooms and stuff. You just need a bit of meat in there, and we got a rat. Perfect.
I wouldn't trust your cooking in the apocalypse.
I would eat it if I caught it at least.
Bring around the next Black Plague with the rats.
Okay, so just think about Shrek, right? Remember the scene when they're roasting weed rats over the fire? Don't those just look delicious?
Yeah, but they're flame roasted. That's not boiled in water.
True.
Where you can
weed rat.
Oh, so
rotisserie style.
Yeah. Are you saying that you'd skin the rat and then put the meat in there, or would you
I don't know.
drop the whole thing?
I would no. I would just pull the meat out and put that in the soup.
Okay.
Not the whole rat.
Probably do you well to still at least brown the meat first and then put it in the soup.
Sure, we'll flame roast it over a fire and then put it in the soup.
All right. Okay.
I don't know much about cooking rats. Yeah. Anything else?
I thought that the whole contraption, as clever as it was really well made. But you were going to far too much effort to catch a rat. Surely there's a rat trap somewhere around.
Yeah, they don't expire.
Exactly right.
You can find one somewhere.
Or you just need a plank of wood, a bit of metal that you can use for your tension, and another bit of metal to slam down and something to sort of hold it in place. It's not that complicated to make a rat trap.
Yeah, or like a laundry basket or something hanging on top that falls down when it touches the cheese.
Yeah, she did all this work. And with cardboard box too. This is really, really clever.
No.
Kudos to you, love. But Why? Just get a rat trap. I'm sure there's one somewhere in the
Or rat
estate.
poison. Like, yeah.
Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah.
They are pesky, though. Like, rats are a problem. You do got to deal with
Sure.
it, so.
Yeah, you got it.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, or just do something else. Like the solar panels, that was great. Do more of that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the rat; he will die eventually.
On that note, did anyone else think that the solar panel was about to like blow up or something? So she walked away, and then Jerry like wheelbarrows next to her. I'm like, oh, please tell me it's gonna be like.
I did wonder because of the way the shot framed it.
Yeah, I thought
as she
it's
walked
gonna
away.
it's gonna like crackle and pop now. But nope.
Like your ice bubbles.
Yeah, like, yeah. Snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah. Cool. Well, fun times. There we go. Yeah.
Cool walkers as well in this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. At least something was happening, you know. I would say it could be worse. It couldn't be worse by the show's standards because I think we can. Oh no, Liam, you reckon the last one with Daryl and Carol was worse than this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I personally found that one far more boring than this one.
But he gets a fish thrown at him in the last one.
It's the only good thing about the episode.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's definitely about as bad as the show gets, which is that's saying something. That's kind of good. You know, things were still happening. There was a few cool action scenes here and there. So if that's the very worst, then that's okay.
Is it though?
No.
I don't know if I'll ever watch this one again. Even if I do a complete rewatch, I will skip this episode.
Okay. I will at least once season 11's out, or if it takes too long for season 11 to come out, and I just want to watch more Walking Dead. Because there was something there at least. You can tell there's something intentional behind it, but it's just a matter of digging out what it is. So, yeah.
But in my opinion, like, should The Walking Dead really be all about like metaphors and hidden meaning? Like, cool when they can get that in there at the same point.
Yeah.
But isn't it still supposed to be like an adventure?
100%.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't agree more. And it's definitely been a lot more heavy with that in the latest episodes, as far as metaphors go, which I suppose is a good way to go when you have to, do a very limited story with only a few characters. You can't have too much crazy stuff happening. But yeah, you're 100% right. That should just be a bonus. Is you get some metaphors and things that you can dig out of the episode, but there's got to be that adventure and action and every all the stuff we love about the show as the main thing. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Cool. Well, where are we? Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit of time. So, do you want to do a previously on The Walking Dead while we're here? Oh, I was trying to. There was something else someone was saying
I do
before
have
that I
one,
wanted to touch
yeah.
on. But yeah. Okay. Sorry. Last thought. I'm all over the place today. Is that we got to? I always, if there's any musical themes or whatever, I'll always let you know about that. There was a Daryl Carol theme sort of set up in season 10 that popped up a couple times, and it appeared twice here just when Carol was in the bed, sort of saying to Dog, oh, he'll come back, won't he? And very intentionally talking about Daryl. And then again after she ripped apart the wall. It was very focused on sort of Dog and talking about Daryl. So, it's cool to see that they're sort of sewing those threads through, and I'm hoping it'll continue into season 11. So then, what I really enjoy is when you can sort of look at the big picture after a while and go, oh, okay, that music popped up here, here, and here.
Yeah.
And those are all the scenes where this was happening. So, it'll be cool to see where they go with it.
On that, really quickly, did you notice when when Dog wakes her up in the middle of the night, and then she goes to pick up the torch? Did you hear the song that was playing there?
Yeah. Oh, thanks for bringing that up. Definitely. It was a few notes of whispers. Like for the start of it. Yeah.
I was like, no way.
That would have been okay. We'll get back to this in a minute when we're pitching alternate storylines. But like, if you threw in some remaining whisperers who were still hanging around, that would have been crazy.
I in my mind, because I was pretty slouched, I was slouching in my mind. If you hear me, okay.
Sure.
I sat bolt upright when that played, and she started walking downstairs with the flashlight. I was like, finally, some action, you know? Like Gordon Ramsay, like eating some food. I was like, oh, finally, like, here we go. What's this all going to be about? Was there a whisperer hiding in the wall this whole time? Like,
yeah. Oh, man.
yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, who knows if that was a mistake or they were just trying to mislead us, maybe.
Could you maybe email Mr.
Yeah.
Ewing about that? And,
I'll ask him if I get a chance. Yeah, sure.
please do.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Cool. We'll let you know. I'll let you know if there's any updates. Yeah, alrighty. Cool. So, do you want to introduce previously?
I
on
do.
The Walking Dead?
Previously on AMC's The Walking Dead.
Nice. We don't really hear that here in Australia at all because
No.
or maybe you do if you have watched like live Foxtel. But anyways, yeah. So without much of a reference, that sounded great. Essentially, we just take a few minutes to talk about something from previously in the show that we haven't talked about yet in the podcast because we've only started sort of halfway through season 10. So there's a lot of content we haven't talked about, and it just gives us a chance to appreciate some stuff. So. Have any of you guys got something you'd like to start us off with, or shall I?
Yeah, I got something.
Out?
So
Yeah,
I
cool.
recently, just the other day, started rewatching. I felt like watching the pilot episode. I'm like, I know if I watch the pilot, I'm going to just start going through the whole thing again. So I'm about 3 episodes in, I think. But
That's what I was going to ask, actually. I want to hear more about this,
Yeah.
like rewatching. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No. So the thing that sort of sprung to me as quite a standout was Glenn is super young. At first, like even to the point where his voice, I don't know if this was an intentional thing or whether that was just how he spoke at the time, but even his voice feels like less husky and manly.
Yeah.
But when you think of Glenn, he never really has a bit of a grit. He doesn't have a gritty voice, in my opinion. But yeah, it just sounds very, very youthful.
Yeah.
Like the first encounter with Rick, he's like, "No, not dead." But maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm like, "Oh wow, you're a baby.
Yeah.
You're extremely young." But
Absolutely.
yeah, it was very interesting to rewatch that.
Yeah.
Go and check that. Yeah.
And Carl always gets me as well. Like, wow, he's just like a little kid. Yeah. Oh, very much so. Well, just before we continue with the segment, where are you up to in the rewatch?
They have just left to go back for Merle.
Okay, yeah, it's only a couple of episodes. Yeah, cool. Oh, well, I'm definitely keen to hear your thoughts as you go along if there's other stand-up stuff. I think especially in the first episode, and there's a few of them that stick around, but there's all these random people in the Atlanta camp, hey? Like, if you look in the background in the first episode, there's this whole group of people who then just, like, disappear by the next episode. And then there's a few of them who hang around, and you're like, oh, I don't really remember them, and there's like Morales and his family, and they go off, and then Jackie, who a lot of people sort of forgot about after the first few seasons. But yeah, it's kind of there's still a whole pile of people who just like vanish, and you never see what happens to them. So it's a bit weird. But there we
I
go.
didn't pick up on that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Isaac,
Neat.
what have you got?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan. I don't know if I've ever skipped them. I might have, but I'm going to say I haven't. The opener, Walking Dead, with the titles and everything like that. I like to see its progression through the seasons.
Yeah.
With each major sort of milestone that happens, it changes, and then of course you see the actual Walking Dead being either on fire or green growing over it or blood on it or whatever the case may be. But in particular, one of the things I really enjoy seeing is you have the windmill turning around, and then we get the shot of the bridge with Rick on it with the walkers approaching, and then one of the blades of the windmill goes over as like a transition, and then the bridge is all on fire and blown up. And each time I just go, that's an awesome transition. Like, well done to you.
That's
Yeah,
cool. Hey, yeah. It keeps it moving. You don't have to do a whole explosion and everything.
Yeah. I think I'm quite fond, particularly of the one that they've got at the moment. I wasn't super fond of the first couple where you see like, old chandeliers and, the
Right.
doors opening and fingers coming through it.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but I like this one more. And now we see like all the green growing through things and growing through the skulls of the
That's
new
cool.
life. Yeah, I like it.
I got to point out, like it's really interesting seeing the title and the intro sort of theme with the first season now.
Yeah, I have to
because
go
it
back.
feels really bland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
right.
it's just screen, like it's just stills of, like you say, like chandeliers, like Atlanta abandoned. It's really good still. It's great, but yeah, I'm like, oh, this is very, very bland. And even like The Walking Dead is just The Walking Dead. Like there is no. I know it periodically starts to decay throughout the series,
Right.
and then different part, like you say, it's on fire, green, blood. Yeah, like to begin with, it's just The Walking Dead. There is nothing happening with it. I'm like, I forgot that it was like this once upon a time.
And one other interesting thing to note in this current, certainly in this season, we see this close up of like a walker, and it's got like a maggot that comes out of its eye or something, or like a beetle or some creature.
Wait, when's this?
Right before it turns around and starts walking away into the distance, right before Walking
I
Dead
don't know
pops
if
up.
I've even noticed that. I've got to have
neither
another
have I.
look. Yeah.
It's like fills the whole screen. Like there's this bug that crawls out of its eye.
Oh yeah, I think I can pick. There was a fly or something.
Something.
Yeah, no,
Um,
vaguely.
And it makes me point out that I don't know, to my knowledge, if we've ever actually seen an infested walker. I can't remember one.
There's definitely one. I think it's in season 2 when Daryl like is hiding under the cars and he like pulls a body on top of him. I'm pretty sure that's got like maggots in it or something. There's at least. Oh no. That might be it as well. But there's also one in season 4 when Carl's going off by himself and like remember he's walking backwards and there's all the walkers coming out. He's like, come on. He's trying to, be all adult while Rick's passed out. There's definitely one there that has like maggots in it and then he throws up as soon as he looks at it. So yeah, there's some cool effects here and there, but you're right, not a whole lot of it.
There's the one in the world beyond with the bees.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Not the bees.
Classic.
What you got, Ben?
So the first guy who died from the flu back in season 4, he's got like the Where's Waldo glasses.
Oh yeah.
Or Where's Wally here in Australia. There's the scene like after Daryl's caught a deer off screen and brings it in and he goes up to Daryl. He's all polite. He's like, Mr. Dixon, thank you for bringing in that deer. I'd love to shake your hand. And Daryl's just like, yeah, right. And he's eating something. And so he just like puts it down and like licks all his fingers one at a time and then goes and gives him a manly handshake after like licking all his fingers.
Yeah.
I just find that funny. Like classic Daryl. He plays along with it and he's being nice, but it's just like he kind of throws in a little bit of something gross as well. Yeah,
I like
just
it.
random little charismatic stuff like that. That's why we love him. Yeah, cool. Alrighty, well, we're going to end the episode there and dive into some bonus content. So if you'd like to hear our thoughts on maybe some alternate approaches for this episode, what the story could have been if we were given the pen to write it, then definitely head to turnsounds.com. You can just send us a couple bucks a month if you like, or there's an annual option. But essentially what it does is it just helps to support some of the money that we have to pay for subscriptions and stuff like that. It helps to support the show. And you get a bit of bonus content as well. So, yeah, we definitely appreciate that. So, turnsounds.com, thank you so much for listening. I've been Ben.
I'm still Isaac.
I'm always Liam.
Cheers. See you next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.